Right, another page. And this one is with the waterfall effect. So I've started off already, and basically I just put a flap behind, joined onto this, and then I've glued this down so that they've got equal distances at the side, and I've left a gap at the top. And then these literally flip up like this. There's different ways of doing this waterfall, some easier than others. I saw a lady on the internet doing this the other day. I think it was Jill. And I thought it just looked a fairly easy way to do it, so that's what I'm doing. And basically, you put a crease line on, add some glue. I'll give you the measurements in a minute. Try and butt it up to the edge, making it as straight as you possibly can. Fold it back on itself, and if that edge is straight and that edge is straight, you're onto a winner. Oops, that's smooth because I've done that. Don't do that then, before you've checked that it's sealed. Go like that. I've just done a pile that have been absolutely fine. You can't believe it, can you? Right, I'll start again. Right, I'm starting again. So put some glue on your crease bit. Put it up against your last seam. Check that it is in a straight line with that and a straight line with that, and burnish down. I've got a bit of a gap showing there. I don't know why this one doesn't seem to be quite creased like it should be. All my others have absolutely gone fine. And I mean absolutely fine. So I don't know whether I've not quite leveled this up or creased it up right or something. Doesn't seem to be wanting to lie flat, so I might not have just creased it in the right place. So anyway, this is about par for the course again, isn't it? It really is. So we'll have a bit of luck with it. We'll have another go with this one. So this measures 4 3/4 by 6.5 inches, and again a 1/2 inch seam. And on the long edge, turn that seam over. And then I'll have one more. I'll do one more, and hopefully this one might go a bit better. Says she. Probably not. So again, lining it up as good as you can. Yes, it moves when I want to. It moves when I want to just check that it's going up straight. Yeah, now then. For some reason or other, it's like this isn't very straight on my seams, these last two, and I don't know why. it won't help because the last one went a bit but can you see that gap I've got there? That's because it's not creased very good on that seam, and I don't know why. But because of it, it means that it looks to be less. And if I bring that up to how it should be, I've now lost it. So that was because for some reason or other, my crease line was playing up. But you can always check, because basically when you fold them over, they should be in a nice line. But hopefully that also explains to you what you can do if you have that problem. And it might just be as simple as your crease line's not 100% for some reason or other correct. I forgot also to tell you that I went and bought, while I was waiting for my designer papers to come, some more cardboard, black cardstock, and this is 230 GSM. It is finer, but it's more fantastic for such as this, because if you did it on the 300 it would be really, really thick. So, as before with this one, I want one now to go on the bottom, so that they will literally go like this at some point. So, I've cut a strip for that. Let me work it out for you. Just short of 6 inches, but I mean you can make your strip as big or narrow as you want, and this one is 1 3/4 inches wide. And again, I've done my designer paper just a little bit shorter, and I've given it 1/2 inch of a seam at this end. So what I'm going to do is that right? Right, this one wants to be on this side. Don't do it on the other, because you'll stick it to the wrong bit that you don't want. And I'm very surprised that I didn't do that. So bring your flap down at the top so that you roughly know where it is to line it up, and press down when it lines up. Again, don't go right to the end of here. Give it a little bit of a gap so that it doesn't fight it when you're putting it up. And probably I will have that going underneath and that going over the top. But there you go. You've got your basic easy waterfall there. You can get them that you pull a thing at the bottom and they all flick up. No. I'm not doing that one. Definitely not doing that one. Right. I have cut down again some designer paper, and on this one I'm just going to put it on the top one. So again, you know the routine by now. Trim it down so it's just a little bit. I think this again was about 1/8 of an inch less. But again, it's entirely up to you. You could do it more, you could do it less. You could have some that there wasn't any border around at all. That is entirely up to you. I'm not going to do that now, but you can do your photo mats. These would be photo mats for 4x6 here and here. You can, again, I don't know whether I'm going to do it, put a strip in between where your seam is to hide your seam. And some people also put a strip on the bottom so that you see the pattern as you go down. I might do that after. But that is entirely up to you. Or you can just leave it black like that. And it will just give that look, which, you know, is equally, that is entirely up to you. Now then, I've decided, you saw that I like that idea. So what I want to do now, I want to put that on as a embellishment when I've finished. But I'm just working out what I've, because I think I've done it again. I've forgotten about me magnet, which I've done before, because I just keep forgetting about them. So what is the best way to do this? I definitely need one. Now I haven't put a strip on here yet, so I can put a magnet on there, but unfortunately I've already put a strip on here. Now, as I did before, it won't be the same pattern of material, but as long as it's something you like, it's fine. So I'm going to cut another strip of this, and for this I want to do it in centimetres, which is 4.3 by 13.5. It's a shame because I really like that little strip of paper as well, but never mind, doesn't matter. This is what we learn, and you'll remember to not stick it on before you need it. I'm just trying to keep getting in front of myself, and instead of which I mess myself up. I've got DT stuff I've got to be doing as well, and it's on the back of my mind, and I keep thinking, well, no, I must get this done as well. So I don't know. Right, so I've already got some strips cut for the back, and I think I actually like that one, which is what I've done before. So let me see, is that the same size? Will it cover it? Let me see. That actually looks a bit narrow there, doesn't it? Why is that a bit narrow there? Did I not cut that other one very straight? Doesn't look like maybe I did. Right, okay, never mind. Right. Right, that's going to fit over there quite good. So I hope. No, do not put that on there yet, because that's going to be the same problem. You're going to be doing it again. Honestly, I tell you, what am I like? Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Right. I am going to adhere the magnet on there, and then I shall add a little bit of tape to help it to stick. This red liner tape, the tape at the back just doesn't want to come off. There we go. Right. So this is my strip that you've just seen me cut. Decide which way you want it. Yeah, that way. And pop it over the top. It wouldn't be as hard work if I hadn't already glued a piece underneath that I want to hide. Right, okay. That's fine. And the reason why you've got your magnet on this side, don't forget, is because that flap's going over there. And because of that, and because I've done it longer, maybe you would have been better having it on this side, but yeah, would it have been better being on that side? Oh, golly gosh, what? Now I've thought about that, you see. Yeah, it should have been down here, shouldn't it? Anyway, it's not. So it's not. Right, because I've only just done it, I've managed to take that piece of paper, that piece of cardstock off. And I've decided that it's going to have to, the magnet is going to have to be further down. So I'm going to turn this round. Yeah. And stick a magnet on here. Would help if I got the magnets out as well, because they're hard work to get out of this casing. They really are. It's like they don't want to come out. Right, so again I'm just going to I'll go roughly there with that. And stick it down. And again, get my piece of tape. Just helps to hold it in place while the glue's setting. And this should fit onto there. And I've left a bit of a gap at the bottom as well to match what will match at the top. Again, it stops the bulk at the bottom as well. Which way around do I want this? I think I want this one this way. So, trying to create your border again. That down like that. Now your magnet that you had before, which will stick to that, bring that over. If you put some glue on it, and bring it over, press down to leave a mark where you put your magnet. Can you see that? Can you see it's left a mark? Put your magnet on top of there, and you know then that that is where it needs to be. Quite easy to do when you remember the steps you've got to do it in. I just keep putting the designer paper on before I put the magnet in and basically forgetting what I'm doing. Right, so this was the strip that I cut before, like I said, that fits on there. Because I didn't use the tape and I didn't leave it on very long, I've managed to peel it off. Because believe me, once this glue is proper sealed, it's not going anywhere. But like I said, it allowed me to take it off, so that was brilliant. Right, that's now over the top. Why is that not sticking now? Because it should be. It should be. Now then, why is that not sticking? Did I put too negative? Right, so that now, you wouldn't know that that didn't have, that has an extra piece on it. And when you flip it over now, you can hear it stick with the magnet. So all I need to do now is put a piece on here as well. The magnets are on now, so you don't need to worry about that. It just finishes it off. And there we go. And then I have a little tiny punch, or Matt used a circle die thing, and I've just cut 2 sizes to make a thing, and I'm just going to stick that, where do you think? There, or a little bit higher? Yeah, a little bit higher, because I think if I stick it further down, I think what will happen is it'll get bent up. There we go. There we go. Don't know why this one underneath is showing again. Evidently because of where the magnet wants to hold. Anyway, that in theory is what it is. Don't like the way that that's not holding it straight. But anyway, that's as good as you're going to get for the way that my look's going. It's just not having it today at all. Yet again. Right, it wasn't lining up quite how I liked it. So I've put them together, and I hope you can't hear, because my husband's just put the kettle on, so I hope you can't hear that, and if you can, well, you'll just have to put up with it. And I have literally, like I did before, and then that now isn't quite as bad. It's not perfect. For some reason or other, the magnet doesn't want to. It wants to throw it off, and I don't quite know why, because when I fingered it, it was fine. But as you can see, it's just one of them. I don't quite know why it's doing it, but I can't seem to get it to stop, so maybe it's the same length down all the way, so in a sense it could look like you've stepped it slightly. Now for the back of this one. Again, just a designer piece of the paper, the cardstock. Cut down 1/8 of an inch. It's getting quite repetitious this, isn't it? But basically the pages are very similar in that way. I just love these papers, aren't they gorgeous? Look at that. Really, really lovely. Now then, for this one I wanted to change. So I've die cut using a tag die I have 2 pieces of black card, and they are going to go into the open pocket on both sides, like that. So now I've just got to decide whereabouts I want them. And for underneath, I've done a photo mat, which is 8 down by 6 across, and this will go in here roughly like that. So I have to decide where I want these roughly to be. And I think something like that will be quite nice. So if I do that, the edge of my extra bit here, this tag thing that's going in, lines up with the end of that leaf, and you're wanting to glue this inside, I'll slip that in the hole, making sure it's in the pocket and not on the front, and leveling it up so that the edge is roughly with that leaf again, what I said. You can squidge that down and line that up. Just press it in from the inside with your fingers. Don't worry about that, that's just a bit of the glue that will come off. And then we're going to do exactly the same on this side. Again, making sure that it's in the pocket and roughly lining it up. Excuse my dog. She's not the quietest, I'm afraid. She likes to hear herself talk. Now this is where I'm just trying to get it so it's roughly the same. I know I've not put any glue on yet and it'll have to come back out again, so, but I just want to be roughly making sure where it would be in case it needs tweaking. It's easier to tweak at that point. Again, open up your pocket. At this stage you can move it because you've not pressed it for gluing. When you think it's right, you can press it down. And that's got that done. Now I haven't put a black trim round this time, and I don't know, I didn't want to add any more bulk, so I haven't, and it also gives you a bit of a different idea. I don't know whether I want to add a black piece behind it or not, but I don't want to also hide a lot of this, So this time I'm not going to bother. Again, it's another idea, another look. And pop it roughly where you want it. Trying to get it as straight as you can. Yeah, that's fine. Right. Now, I want to fasten this with some of the brad effect types again. So these are just some 2 die cut circles again, which I've made a hole in. And as you can see, they're not exactly in the middle because I went by Racket Fee again, and which is like my version of just go for it. And it doesn't always go in the middle. But if I measured it and made that go in the middle, that would be completely different to all the rest, wouldn't it? So again, I'm going to just make a little knot. And stick my brad on that side of it. It's not the easiest thing to do. Quite sure there's quicker and easier ways of doing this, but like I said, it doesn't help because my twine's quite thick. Cut off the end there and go is that right? No, that's not right, is it? You put your twine in, you put your brad in first. Now, will I be able to get this through this hole? No. Don't be silly, Liz. Don't be silly. Of course you can't. So, again, this is proving to be extremely hard work. So you've got your twining. Sorry, out of thing there. Just basically I did the same again. The twine behind. And then I'm going to roughly make a mark where I roughly want it to be, which is roughly there. So at this stage I want to make a mark roughly on the other side. By all means, at this stage, measure it, rather than just make a hole like me. And I found this thing I have in my stash for what I use for making holes, so hopefully I didn't stab myself again this time. So that's for that. And then again, put your brad in. Some poker tools are a bit wider than this, which is actually better because my poker tool isn't very wide. try to keep that a little bit looser. Whether it actually works or not is another matter. And then like that, and cut that off. And then that one there is what it's like for the front. That's just some dried glue that will come off. You could have put pattern paper under there, designer paper under there. Now you're left with your brad things again. So you are going to have to put some pattern paper on this side to hide it. So what I have done, I've taken another smaller of my tag dies, and again some of the paper, and just literally just so it covers that brad. Again, use any paper that you want. Just order some more glue because I'm getting a bit low. Will do. And that's just an idea for a different fastener. That just created a different fastener without too much bulk, because you've got the waterfall on this side of it, and by the time you've got a few pages in, and if that had photographs in as well, that would bunk it up very much. So that's another one. Onto another page. I've put the DP, the designer paper, on already. You've seen me do that a few times, and I've left a small border. This might not be 1/8 of an inch, it looks slightly less, but it doesn't matter. That, like I said, that's entirely up to you. This is usually more of the border I leave, to be honest, a slightly narrower one. So for this page, I've decided to add some flaps for photographs. So this one will take, these two will take 4x6 photographs, and then the next one I'll show you will take a 5x7. So I could do it that these two fit into the gap of the pocket, but I've decided to make it something a bit different, to do it like this. Now this is the 5x7 one that's going to go over like this. So not that I know whether it'll make it easier, to be honest. I'll just caught my light. There we go. But I'm going to glue this behind this one roughly, so it's got an equal border showing left and right. So I'm going to put some glue on my crease seam, which is half an inch, like most of the others I've done. And again, do it so that you're not quite to where you bend it over, so that that lies flat when it's bent. So this will go like this, and this will equally again have I'm just bringing that in so I know where I want this top section to be, so that my gaps between are roughly right the same, top and bottom, and there's a gap in between the two flaps. You could have them that they go over each other, but personally for this today I decided that this would do. So I'm going to keep that bottom one roughly in place, and then I know. And this one we put the glue on this side. And again, like what I've said, so you're leaving your rough border that's about the same on left and right, and press down. This can then lift back, and this will be a photo flap. And fair enough, you've got that one as well. And then this one, again, add some glue on it. Line it up as before, as straight as you can. Same amount of border at the bottom as you've got roughly at the top. Hopefully in a line with your last one. I've noticed that some of this card doesn't seem to want to crease very good. I think I said that on one of me previously. But anyway, there you go. So you've now got a flap that opens that way and a flap that opens that way. And on these, again, you can add your photos, which I've done in exactly the same way, adding some generic stamping, or if you have a particular stamp set that you like to use, this is entirely up to you. Trying to leave again an even border. Now you could add one there. And have it that it's hidden. And then when you see it, you open it up and there is another one. I haven't done a mat for that, but that is another option. So this just gives you a rough idea of some different ideas of what you might want to do. And then this one would be, you picture that, your photo that way. And like I said, this is a 5x7. And there we now have our flaps. Now then, what's worked out there, because I've got one on the, I should have put that on there. I should have put that on there, instead of which I put it on the front. That is another way of doing it. Let's say I pretended to, well, I meant to do that, you know, even though my butterflies are now upside down. Don't do as I said. Don't do as I do. Say as I say. That just goes to yet again. I've decided that this video is the what you can do wrong But there we go. So that is that. Now I think my battery's about to die, so I'll have to hopefully have enough time to continue this on, because my battery is flashing on my camera that it's about to die. So on this is the last pocket page, and again I'm just going to add some of the designer paper. And you putting it on either way you want, because it's your album and you can please yourself. Aren't these designs gorgeous? Absolutely beautiful. Right, on this one, hopefully before my camera dies, I've decided on this one, these will take 4x6. So that'll take a 4x6, 4x6, 4x6 picture photograph. You could also put one on that piece. Basically, the top one, leaving a border, I've cut down some designer paper, and like I said, because my phone's about to die, my camera's about to die, all I'm going to do is put some twine behind before I stick it, and then I'll just tie it with a bow. But you'll see a picture of that when I've done the finished flick through, or yeah, the finished flick through, because I've got to do something else with showing you how to put the pages in yet. So I think I'll leave it at that, because it literally is about to die on me. Right, my battery's back to being full charge now. So in the interim, I did put another photo mat on that section, because I thought it needed it, and I'd put the photo mats on those as well. So on the other side, as I said I was doing, I just put some of the designer paper, and then put some twine round the back, put some more designer paper on that one. You can have 3 photos on there, you can have a photo on there, or you could put designer paper, and then this literally is just a tie fastener. And that, for the time being, is that. I think I've done all 4 pages there, and basically the next bit is adding the pages into the album, and then I will show a finished one as well. So bye for now. I've decided now that before I put any more bulking into me album, I'm going to decorate the front. So I'm going to make sure that I'm the right way, because my album is going, if you remember, like this. So this section here will be the front. Now on the others, I've put it that the leaves are coming down. I think on this, I'm going to have it that the leaves are going up, just because I prefer it the way that I prefer the design that way. So my album, if you remember, is 10 inches by 8, and I have cut these designer papers again, which are from the Eucolyptus collection. Gorgeous papers these are, really, really lovely, I love them. And I'm doing 1/8 of an inch less than the size again. I have to concentrate, so I keep on stopping talking, which is a bit silly and a bit annoying, but there you go. and press that down. And then, of course, on this one we have 2 spine sections. So to keep, because this has got the black in, and I know this is a strip of more black, I'm going to keep it like that. And there seems to be a piece of my designer paper missing, so I'll just have to check. No, it's not that one. I'm actually waiting for some more, and I'm wondering if I've by accident have used it for something else, or whether that's it. Oh no, that's fine. Right, so I'll show you what I'm going. I'll show you before I stick those pieces in. I'm going to show you what I mean. This is my main front section. When this comes over, the pattern will go over. So I have, from the same piece of paper, I've cut that. Now the pattern doesn't exactly flow, but at least the colourways are flowing. So I am going to actually stick this one down next, because I don't confuse myself any further than what I already am confused. If you was putting a tie cover for fastening it, you would put that on before you put this designer paper. But I've used some of the papers and a magnet method, which I'll show you later. I'm not showing you how I've made it. It was a bit complex, to say the least. Well, for me. Yeah, for me. So now, when that's folded, you've got that pattern going through. So it roughly looks the same. And I'll not show you that yet. So again, keeping this into the what I've said about the papers, and going the right way up. Now by rights this should have a bit of white at the top, but it's going to be on the side, and nobody is going to see it, so it doesn't really matter. Just checking. Yeah. Now, as I've told you, my album is a 10 by 8, and because of it I've actually used more papers than one pad, and I am still waiting for the other pad to come. So I've decided while I'm waiting I'll just do this, because I've also got some more work to do, and I wanted to get this done while it was sort of fresh in my mind. Like I said, that should really, by rights, have some white on it at the top, but it's going to be on the side. Nobody's really going to notice. At the moment, I have nothing for this back section. To be honest, I don't always put paper on the back. I probably will, because I've got another full pad coming. If you, of course, was doing a smaller album, you'd quite easily get it out of a one pad pack. It's not really a pad, it's pack. Again, get it that the leaves look like they're at least going the same way. And I've cut my designer paper down to the same colour as what my black was behind this. Because, again, as I told you earlier in the videos as you've watched, this paper was white backgrounded and not as black as the rest of my album. And because of that, actually, I probably will, when I get my new pad, cut a piece and put a piece on. But that, for now, is as far as I can go. And you saw that I'd done the inside before. So, now then, from the fastener, I've got to get it that roughly this lines up like it should. And for that, I'm just going to put some clips on to hold it. So it's in the right place. And yeah. Yeah. So basically that inner section, which you cut, sorry, it's not very easy to see, but basically the inner section goes, because that was the same size. This section here was the same size as the back, and you should get more of a squared look if you do that. So this is my holder that I've done, which basically is a piece of black card with some of the designer paper with a magnet in between. Now, as you can see, you've got a different, because you've come over with one piece of the chipboard, or what I've used, you've got a depth here. So what I've done on this one, I've cut some of the same chipboard, whatever board it was called, I can't just think, cut it into a smaller circle than what the big circle is, and I am going to basically glue it down. And again, between this designer paper and that black, there is a magnet that will line up with that one. This was the bit that was a little bit harder work, well, very hard work for me to work out. Trying to keep my designer paper in place and everything. So basically, this is why I put these on. So I knew, without it keep falling apart, I knew where I wanted to stick this, which basically is right along the edge of that where it folds over. And then this, which I have also covered with some of the designer paper on the back, now lines up. It does line up when I find my magnets. There you go. That now is lining up. So I'm going to put some glue on this side, and then it should keep it snapped shut. It should do. It should do, says I. Well, this is the bit that is the awkward bit, because I haven't measured where so I'm going this side of that body to a bit. I'm quite sure there's easier ways of measuring this than just hoping you've gone the best, you've done it, but who knows. And basically just line that up, press that down. You can get in the underneath because you've not put any pages of your finished pages in yet. You can take these clips away. Just make sure that that's fastened. I'm not going to risk shutting it at the minute because that glue is got to stick, and because I might finish up, if it does want to tend to come off, I might have to put some liner tape underneath and re-stick it. But basically, hopefully, like I said, when you've got the pages in, because there's nothing in at the moment, that's what you should get. I'm hoping this works. Maybe I should have put two magnets in, but we shall see. Anyway, that was in theory. Whether in practice it's actually working, I don't know. Maybe it's not. Right, back to the front. I don't know if the eagle-eyed amongst you noticed, but I was trying to put this that I'd done on the wrong way. And no wonder it didn't want to fasten, because basically the magnet was here and I was trying to put the other side on, which, as you can see here, I'd stuck on like that. and that was the wrong way because the magnet is here. So needless to say, it took some of the glue off. So there's an easy solution to that, which is I've actually got another of the pads that I said, because I was doing a large, oops, and you'll have to excuse the colour of my glue, I've had to put a pin in that isn't stainless steel, and I'm afraid it's making the glue a bit funny coloured, so I'm hoping that doesn't show. Anyway, basically I'm just going to stick another one over the top of this, and now you can't tell, and that will then go onto there. So I've got to now find where and you can feel it, you can hear it finding it, and so now that is the way it'll have to be glued. So this half here, and because I've got the marks from where I had to pull it off last time, in a sense it makes it a little bit easier because I can follow the glue, the old glue marks on there. So again, you find put your edges together, roughly put it where you want it to be, and press down. Make sure that those edges go up to meet underneath, and there you go. That's just a bit of clear glue that will come off after, and there's your cover now. This time that is right. So I've decided that with all the things that's going wrong with this thing, to just carry on and basically show you that, yeah, a lot of times things don't go right. They certainly don't seem to be doing on this video. So if you're still bearing with me, I've decided that this is don't try and cover up the mistakes you've made, just carry on. So now that at least has got that done. So this inside that I've already put the designer paper on. I've made a pocket to go on this side. So I've made it just slightly smaller than the depth of the base, and it will be glued on to there. Got a bit of a rough edge on this thing because my trimmer blade decided that was yet another thing. My trimmer blade decided that it was going blunt and I haven't got another one. So that will go on there, and I've cut down a designer piece of paper, again an 1/8. I think it was an 1/8, might be slightly more than an 1/8 than that, not quite sure. No, I'm sure it was an 1/8. And then that will be stuck on there. So I'll just do that. And put this designer paper on. Like I said, keep your bits from your main bits, and you might have one that, I'm sure this was a cut off, the bit that I hadn't used, and it just, now for the inside for this, I've done 1/2 inch seams, very difficult for you to see again, folded it back, just mitered off the corner so that when that goes back, it makes a nice seam in the corner. And you basically put glue, actually I think I might put a strip of the red tape on as well, because yes, I did get some more red tape. As you can tell, because I've got to now get it undone, which is going to be fun. And bring it down a bit. I don't know if it'll make any difference, but we can try. Oops, I guarantee this stuff sticks more to me than it does to where I want it to go. Right, now then, I'll just have to find my burnishing tool because I broke off from doing this album because I had some other stuff to do. So I'm having to try and remember what stage it was at, try and find all the stuff again, and I don't know why that has a piece like that, but it does. That's funny stuff, isn't it? But anyway, it's gone. So, get me trusty tweezers, because you know what I'm like for getting the back off these tapes. They never want to come off. Don't know what that is. And then again, pop some glue over. The tape is brilliant for having supreme hold, but unfortunately if you don't put a bit of glue on it and you put it in the wrong place, once it's held, it doesn't want to let go. So fold them edges in. Try not to get yourself full of glue, which also will be the next thing that happens to me, you can guarantee it. And clear all my stuff out of the way for a minute. That's going in there after, and put that down. And then if you hover above roughly where you're going to stick it down, it's very hard for me to do it, to be honest, this way, because I want to turn it round and then you won't be able to see. So, and that doesn't look like it's very straight, does it? And then this is just a photo mat that I have cut down to hopefully fit inside. And probably won't, because I'm having no luck again. And that is 15.8 centimetres by 20.7 or 20.8 depending, and then hopefully that will just fit into there. So that is another photo mat, so make a bit of a better job at putting your pocket on for being straight than what I have, because yeah, I've really made a mess of that, but hey ho. And then that for the cover for the time being is finished.